Have you ever found how much of your daily time is wasted on reactions? That explosion of wrath at someone cutting off your traffic flow. The urgent impulse to protect yourself under criticism. The need to dispute with that provocative internet comment. We are always reacting, replying, defending, and it wears us. Still, the issue transcends just daily irritations. According to a recent HR Cloud poll, workplace disagreements have caused over 1/3 of employees to leave their employment. That is an amazing figure that emphasizes the practical effects of our incapacity to control impulses and negotiate conflict. Are you looking for direction toward emotional control and inner peace? What if the answer to recovering your calm is in acquiring the art of non-reaction at all rather than in improved fighting techniques? Knowledge the reason. Let's investigate why we find ourselves stuck in this loop of ongoing response. Consider your usual daily schedule. Someone comments critically, and your pulse rate rises right away, your muscles stiffen, and your mind hurries to respond. This is a genuine physiological reaction. It is not only in your thoughts. Your blood pressure increases, you start to emit stress hormones, and your immune system suffers. And dozens of times a day, this occurs. Still, why do we respond so powerfully? The solution is in our evolutionary program. Our brains are set for survival. Hence, historically, every threat, physical or social, needed an instantaneous reaction. That made sense when we were confronting predators. But in the modern world, this same system turns on whether we are actually threatened or merely left with an unpleasant social media remark. This fuels overall stress and office friction. The issue is psychological as much as physiologically based. We have been trained to see silence as loss and to assume that not replying indicates weakness. Our ego tells us that every difficulty has to be overcome. Every critique has to be refutes. Every small detail has to be handled. We seem to be tracking every fight won or lost on an unseen scorecard. Understanding conflict management depends on this in major part. Here's what we don't know, though. This continuous state of reacting is not only draining, but also robs our strength. Every time we respond immediately to a provocation, we are allowing others to regulate our emotional condition. We start to move like puppets, our strings readily tugged by anybody knowing which buttons to press. This gets in the way of our reaching actual inner calm, the effect of non-reaction. Let us now consider another situation. Imagine yourself running across the same provocations. The critical remark, the aggressive driver, the online dispute, but this time you don't respond. Not because you're stifling your reaction, but rather because you have evolved something more potent, the capacity for choice of response. Mastery of responses is essentially about this. This is not about allowing others to walk all over you or become passive. It's about creating the space between stimulus and reaction where actual power resides, that which ancient wisdom traditions refer to as responsive awareness. Here you are not at the whim of outside impulses. You start to resemble a mountain, unconcerned by provocative breezes. For emotional control, this is a very effective instrument. When one becomes proficient in this skill of non-reaction, what happens? First, your energy follows you. You keep your peace rather than spending hours in your thoughts revisiting conflicts or perfecting the retort. Your mind keeps clear, your emotions remain steady, and your attention focuses on what really important to you. Second, you interrupt the escalating cycle. Someone pours emotional energy at you and receives no reaction. That energy has nowhere to go. Like tossing a ball against air, there is no bounce back. Often this results in de-escalation when the other person runs out of gasoline for their emotional fire. Resolution of conflict depends critically on this. Third, and maybe most crucially, you come under control inside yourself. Your calm is not depending on outside events anymore. You are living from your center, not from reaction to others. Genuine inner serenity follows from this, the road to solutions. How, therefore, could we grow in our ability to non-reaction? It's not about stifling our reactions or posing as though nothing influences us. Rather, it's about creating new mental habits by means of doable actions. The practice of pause. Start by designating what we'll term a conscious pause. Stop for only 3 seconds when you feel compelled to react. Spend 3 seconds inhaling deeply. This small opening allows you space to select your answer and stops the natural reaction loop. This helps one to control emotions, the observer method. Learn to see your responses as though you were a scientist viewing an experiment. When someone says something offensive, instead of reacting right away, pay attention to your body. Feel your heart rate alter. Notice your ideas start to surface. Your responses lose their natural force from this distance between you and them. This helps you become more conscious. The energy audit. Ask yourself, before starting any argument, is this worth my energy? See your energy as your limited currency. Would you pay $100 on each little annoyance that surfaces? Give your emotional energy the same worth. This helps to efficiently lower tension, the change of view. Ask yourself, in considering a possible conflict, will this matter in a week, 1 month, a year? Many of our emotions are inconsequential, and this straightforward inquiry frequently enables us to distance ourselves from pointless fights. This boosts emotional intelligence. Your major objective should be to keep your peace. Ask, how can I keep my peace in this situation, rather than, how can I win this argument? This reordering of priorities transforms everything. This helps one to grow internally peaceful. The reaction toolkit. Create a set of non-reactive answers for everyday events. I understand your viewpoint for arguments. I'll think about that for unwelcome advice. Let's talk about this when we're both calmer, for contentious circumstances. Often the most potent reaction is silence. Daily strengthening. These methods assist in more efficient management of conflict. Like any ability, non-reaction increases with experience. Start with little events, maybe the tiny annoyances of daily life. You will find yourself automatically more calm in more demanding situations as you develop this muscle. Let us now examine how this operates in practical terms. The crucial comment. Stop right away defending yourself when someone criticizes you. Though you feel compelled to respond, resist the need to do so. Ask yourself, is this person's perspective genuinely influencing my reality? Many times, their remarks only have the power you give them. This exhibits emotional self-mastery, the online argument. Close the app instead of composing an instant reply when you read triggering post or remark. Grant yourself 20 minutes. Ask yourself, when you go back, will my comment really change anything meaningful? Most of the time, the response is no. This is a useful stress release method, the personal attack. When someone assaults you personally, keep in mind, their comments usually reflect more of their inner condition than of yours. Try answering with calm inquiry instead of engaging. That's a fascinating viewpoint. Why then do you say that? Usually more successfully than any defense, this disarms the assailant. This is an excellent illustration of conscious communication. Investigate young professional. Sarah used to be anxious every time her manager spoke harshly in team meetings. Feeling defensive and exhausted, she would spend hours going back over the comments in her brain. She attempted the pause practice one day when her boss shouted over a missing deadline. She inhaled deeply, remained silent, and just nodded. She later gently sought explanation on how to get better. Her manager relaxed unexpectedly and the stress released. Sarah came to see that her silence not only preserved her tranquility, but also attracted greater respect. This little adjustment affected her handling of every criticism following that, beyond the surface knowledge. Most reactions aren't about the current moment at all, as you learn when you practice non-reaction. They concern unconscious habits, prior hurts, and acquired behaviors. You open room to fix these underlying problems when you stop reacting automatically. Moreover, non-reaction is not passive, it is rather highly active. Maintaining your tranquility calls more power than allowing it to fade. It's the difference between allowing a wave sweep you away and standing strong as it passes around you. Emotional resilience is really about this, the transforming power. As you grow in this technique, you will see improvements outside only avoiding conflict. Your connections grow since you're acting from insight instead of reactivity. Your decision-making improves as emotional responses no longer color your judgment. You stop carrying the emotional energy of others, hence your stress level drops. Your concentration gets better as possible disagreements never divert your attention. Since your inner serenity is not contingent on outside events, it grows more steady. Going forward, remember, the objective is to pick your answers carefully, rather than to never reply. Sometimes speaking up is crucial, and sometimes acting is required. The secret is choosing these things deliberately instead of reacting. Good dispute resolution depends on this. Start small. Choose one scenario from today where you would usually respond and work on non-reaction. See what happens within you as well as outside. Consider the tranquility you keep and the energy you save. Closing thoughts. Maintaining our core is more than simply a talent in a society that is always attempting to drag us into response. It's a superpower. It's about our choices of interaction with what happens, not with what happens to us. Real inner serenity and enduring emotional control depend on this. Remind yourself, your tranquility is your strength. Keep it under control. Select your fights with much thought. Furthermore, realize that occasionally the strongest reaction is none at all. Accept the ability to non-reaction. Should this message speak to you, leave comments reflecting your own experiences. In what way has reactive conduct shaped your life? One scenario where you would want to attempt non-reaction today, perhaps a stressful chat, an unpleasant email, or a social media debate? Your narrative might motivate someone else. Let us create a community anchored in emotional intelligence and mindfulness. Remember to enjoy this video and sign up for further ideas on developing inner strength and wisdom in our contemporary society. To remain current, ring that alert bell. Thank you for your interest. Until next time, work on emotional resilience and welcome non-reaction's power.